Welcome to another Secret Influence TV interview. A series of interviews with people who are innovators, influencers, public speakers, or people who work on transformation in some way. Today I'm talking to Christian Roach, who's the author of this fantastic book, Becoming Superhuman, 99 Ways to Become Your Own Superhero. Welcome, Christian.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for having me.
So, just to start, I want to ask Christian, can you want to just tell everyone a bit about what you do?
Yes, so I'm currently working as a fitness educator, so training people to become personal trainers, but I also do a lot of personal development coaching, which is heavily embedded with NLP, life coaching strategies, and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So ultimately combining fitness, mindset, and lifestyle to help people become the best version of themselves.
Sure.
So one of the reasons why I've written this book, which has been out a little while now, but it's still a good,
Sure.
it's still a big tool that I use for clients, and it's one of the foundations that they have to have.
Okay.
When we're working together.
I mean, this is the second time I've read this book, and I love it. I love your style. I find it very funny. But I think the great thing about it is that it covers every aspect of improving your life. So it covers the health aspect, diet and fitness, but it also covers mindset, practical approaches to improving your money management, your sleep. I mean, I think it's great because it's a very easy to read book that covers every aspect. So the first thing I want to ask you a bit is about writing the book itself. So was it a hard process?
Yeah, in ways it was hard in the sense that I'd actually written 2 copies of something before.
Okay.
That were completely different to
Sure.
what this was. Same sort of theme.
Sure.
It was a bit different. I started writing the book
Okay.
without having a title,
Right.
which is usually not the way around
Sure.
to do it. So it kind of came to me as it was going along.
Okay.
And got refined a few times. The guy I was working with, as you know,
Sure.
Richard McMahon as well, helped me quite a lot.
Okay.
It was took me 6-7 months to get what was there
Okay.
or what is there now.
And I mean, 99 ways to become a superhero. That's a lot of chapters. Did you find it hard to think of that many ways? You know, that many chapters, that many ways to become a superhero. Did you, in that way, did you sort of have 99 ways and it wasn't hard to put a chapter together, or did you sort of start with about 99 and then have to research different ways? You know, which way did you do it? Did you start with 99?
Yeah, it started off pretty
Sure.
much as me writing bigger chapters. So
Okay.
it was maybe 10 chapters,
Okay.
10 to 15 pages long,
Right.
and I was getting a bit lost towards the end, so
Sure.
I kind of scrapped it, thought some of this is a bit too complicated.
Okay.
There was a lot of content I wanted to write,
Sure.
so I found a way to chunk that down because there was that, and then the second time I wrote it, I'd actually gone more, and I
Right.
had a 300-page book, and I
Wow.
thought, this is a lot.
Sure.
So there are books out there that are like that,
Yeah,
but
of course,
I wanted to
obviously.
simplify what
Sure.
I was using, because it's an easy reference tool for people to go back to and go, well, look at this, and
Sure.
the stuff in there, some of it is quite straightforward that
Sure.
people often forget to do,
Yep. No, of course.
but the idea is quick reference, go
Yeah.
back to what you need, so then you can look into the topic a bit
Sure.
further if you want to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've read it. It's my second time reading it, and I can dip in. I've read on between tube stops, and it's an easy one to work your way through and pick up again. So, what I like about it is the whole thing of mind and body, and I believe definitely, that healthy mind, healthy body, and. Is that something you teach your clients? You know, you work on, I guess, a whole aspect of health for your clients. I mean, you work on some almost transformation, right
Yeah.
word? Or,
So transformation in the sense of, there's a lot of body transformations
Sure.
out there that focus mainly on physique, aesthetics, that kind of thing.
Sure.
But as we found, one of the things that I've always used is why you look like a Greek god if
Sure.
you don't feel like one.
Sure.
You've got to get the mind right. Mind and body are very, very linked in many ways.
Sure.
You could argue that's the same thing
Okay.
from a certain point of view. Lifestyle as well, it's
Right.
all embedded, so it's not just about looking great, it's about
Okay.
feeling great, but having that assertive, confident
Sure.
attitude that you can
course.
get things done. You can stick it up for yourself when you
Yeah,
need to
sure.
manage your time effectively. And being superhuman isn't, or becoming superhuman isn't. It's not so much about being better than somebody else.
Sure.
It's about becoming a better version of the way you already are. And
Okay.
what you've got.
So
which is
setting high standards and good values in that way. Okay. And so you mentioned the book. You've studied NLP.
Yeah.
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Absolutely.
Something I studied and I've used a lot in my work in communications and influence. And I don't know if you want to say a bit about NLP and how you use it in your work.
Yeah, absolutely. I use it slightly differently. So when you use NLP, I think a lot of people have different reasons, whether it's for sales or whether it's for confidence or whether it's for understanding how people think. The way I use it is more like the cognitive reframing side of it, approaching things differently. So some of the more common things that get talked about, people getting rejected from a job, relationship, or friendship doesn't happen. As long as you're doing the right things, it's not rejection, it's redirection to something better.
Right, okay.
So you're reframing how you think, which in turn will affect your feelings, because your feelings are very much interlinked with the way you think.
Right, okay.
Outlook on your life.
So it's perception and how you deal with situations.
Yeah, so in the way I use it with my students is more along the lines of failure isn't failure. The quicker you fail, it's almost like delayed success.
Sure.
So if you're doing the right things,
right,
you keep doing the right things, you get the people that aren't suitable for you, whether that's personal training clients.
Sure.
You spoke to 20 people who are not suitable.
Sure.
Get them out of the way quicker.
Yep.
Then it makes room for the ones that are suitable for your business. So a lot of it is looking at that. With clients, it's slightly different. So you have clients that will look in the mirror and say, I don't want fat arms.
Sure.
Bingo wings. Terminology, right? Okay. But your brain, there's a part of your brain called the reticular activation system that focuses on fat arms.
Right.
Because you've said the word.
Oh, okay. So you focus on the negative.
A bit like, absolutely. A bit
you
like
focus on what you draw towards and that.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
So you're sat in a green chair, and if I said don't think it's a green chair, you haven't got a choice.
Okay.
It's a safe thing. So if you look at, you've got that reframe needs to be, well, what do you want?
Sure.
I need to work towards strong, firm tone.
Okay, right.
Because then your brain starts to find solutions rather than barriers.
Okay.
So you're moving towards what you want. And one of the big things is, I always say to people, don't focus on what you don't want, because it's not important. Focus on what you want, and then you can start to move.
Yeah, no, definitely makes sense to me. It's a bit like that law of attraction. What you focus on, like you said, you'll attract. And if you don't want something, like bingo wings, you focus on the slim toned arms rather than the negative of what you don't want. So I just want to say welcome to people who joined us on this Facebook Live. So welcome to May and Andy. For you who have just joined us now, I'm talking to Christian Roach, who wrote the book Becoming Superhuman, 99 Ways from Your Superhero, and he's sharing some of his insights about how to have that higher standard of living, to be healthier mind and body, and to live through some positive values to improve your life. So I just want to talk a bit about reaching goals. It's January, beginning of the year, and we know that a lot of people at the end of 2018, start of this year, we set New Year's resolutions, and a lot of people don't keep them, they struggle them, and just generally in life, I think people struggle to reach goals they set themselves, particularly with health. So, do you have any, obviously it is covered in this book, it's an important thing, if there's no point setting targets for health if we're going to keep missing them. So do you have any, do you have any suggestions and for how people can start this year off in a positive way and reach their goals, set their goals?
It's an interesting one, goal setting, because I've actually found more and more in the last couple of years that New Year's resolutions have almost come a bit of they're dying off a little bit.
Yeah,
because people are setting them, and it's almost like New Year, New Me. Things don't change just because it's the New Year. It's only a date at the end of the day. So a lot of it is you need to set goals, longer term goals, know what you have, so almost like begin with the end in mind. work backwards from that.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's understanding why you want those goals.
Sure.
Because a lot of the people that come to me with goals like I want to lose weight,
Of course.
they'll give me a reason like, oh, because my friends think I should be that weight, or
Sure.
that's what I think I should
Sure.
be. Whereas that's not very compelling. It doesn't get me out of bed in the morning.
Sure.
But like, someone comes to me and says, I want to get into my wedding dress, I need to drop
Sure.
2 dress sizes for my wedding, it's going to be a really important day in my life, I need to have really good memories,
Yeah.
I want to feel my best.
Sure.
That's more of a motivation
Of course.
to get out of it. So I think with goals, there's no point in setting goals that are wishy-washy.
Sure.
There's no point in setting goals that you're not really sold on,
Okay.
just for the sake of setting
Sure.
a goal. Like,
Yeah.
I think sometimes we set goals just because we think we need to do something.
Sure. No. Of course.
You can do that with the smaller ones, like shorter term ones, just to get a bit of momentum.
Sure.
But bigger goals, you need to take them seriously and have a
Sure.
compelling why. So I think goals is, if you understand why you're doing something, you'll always find the how
Sure.
you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because
no,
it's the
of course.
driving reason that gets you out of bed. Again, your RAS that we've already mentioned will then find solutions to
Sure. Okay. That makes sense.
to the problem.
Okay, that's great. And sort of moving on to the aspect of mindset, and we touched on a bit. So, if we, like I said, if you want to reach your goals, you've got to be almost passionate about the target and reaching it. If it's something that you think have to do it, and it's perhaps it's something what you think you're doing it for the wrong reasons, perhaps you won't reach it. I mean, I've heard so many people say that mindset is everything to whatever you do in life, and you do cover it in your book. Sort of touch on mindset, but also mental health, which we think linked together because mental health is a massive issue in society, and I think a statistic that 1 in 5 people who work suffer from stress or depression in their work and aren't happy in their jobs, which obviously spills in other aspects of their life, and we know that people aren't happy, they can smoke cigarettes or drink too much or overeat. So, how do you incorporate sort of mindset into your training? How do you when you're working with people in fitness, how do you sort of bring that in, and what's your approach with that?
It's a very good question. I'll try my best to answer that with clarity.
Sure.
I think mindset is a very, very big part of your mental health.
Sure.
It's not about positive mental attitude.
No. Right.
Because being positive all the time can often lead to you missing key information or
Sure.
facts that could be protecting you.
Right.
So you don't overlook things that are negative. You
Sure.
just have to be comfortable with the fact that they're there.
Sure.
And then you can move on anyway, regardless.
Of course.
So there's ways to reframe stuff like that. I think with it's 1 in 4, possibly 1 in 3 people
Sure.
with mental health in their
Right.
lifetime now.
Yeah. No,
It's a very alarming statistic, but I think at the same time, there's quite a few things that we're not seeing, and I have a slightly different view on this.
Sure.
So I think the most important thing in your life is self-confidence.
Right. Okay.
If you have that, you can kind of rebound from setback after setback
Sure.
because you know you can go again.
Resilience.
It's a bit like the entrepreneurs.
Sure.
We talked to a
Sure.
few that we know mutually anyway, where they've crashed their business,
Sure.
but instead of being depressed, they just like,
Sure.
well, I can do that again.
Sure.
It's the rebuilding that
Yeah.
is the important part.
Okay.
So it's knowing that you can do it again if it got
Yeah.
taken away.
Sure.
So there's some interesting books, like
Yeah.
there's Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
Okay.
Viktor Frankl, rather.
Right. Okay.
He was a guy in a Nazi concentration camp that survived, and one of the quotes in
Sure.
there is something along the lines of the last human freedom
Sure.
is the fact that you actually always have a choice.
Okay. Sure.
Paraphrasing, but
Sure.
it's along those lines.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not what happens to you, it's how you choose
Sure.
to respond to it.
Right.
So when you fail, you get sacked from a job. This is one that happens quite a lot. So you get sacked from a job, you can have a mentality of, why is this happening to me?
Sure.
What did I do to deserve this? Sometimes you just have to take it on the chin and
Sure.
go, okay, well this actually frees up space for that other job that I really wanted
Sure.
to do, but I couldn't be bothered to apply for.
Yeah. Sure.
Or
Yeah.
entrepreneurs
So
sometimes get sacked
situation.
and they're like, well now I've been pushed
Yeah.
into the situation. It's
Right.
like someone's blowing fire.
Sure.
Right, you have to get into it. Right, it could be well, that's a great opportunity of what not to do.
Sure.
Yeah. If you did something that got you sacked, you go, well, I shouldn't do that. Now I'm learning
lessons learned,
to go into something else. It's all experience.
I read Richard Branson's autobiography a few years ago, and he says that everyone thinks that he's only ever been successful in everything he's did, business-wise, and he's like the Midas touch, and people ask him, how do you manage to succeed every business you do? And he said that I've failed in more businesses than I've been successful at. And he said that if I gave up at the first business failure, I would never be where I am now. It's about second or third. But he said people only see the successes, they don't see how many failures there are. And he said that it's the same with every successful entrepreneur in the world. We only see the successes. We don't see actually how many failures they got to get through to that success. So
Michael Jordan said something similar as well about he's missed X amount of shots. Let's call it 10,000 because I can't remember exactly. But he's missed more shots than everyone else put together is the reason why he succeeds.
I think about that, yeah.
So it's the fact that I find this in sport because I play football and obviously I had a recent injury, so I stopped for a while, but I'll be back. It's almost like if you're afraid to shoot, you will never score.
Sure.
And you have to go with a mentality of don't be afraid to miss. You must be comfortable missing because if you're comfortable missing, you will then find another opportunity to refine it. Whereas if you're not comfortable missing, you will shoot, miss, and not shoot again.
It's true.
But you're never going to score doing that. You need to keep going, keep getting to the right positions, and so on. And I think this is a big one for mental health because it's mindset, but I think there's a holistic side to it as well.
Sure, of course.
I think there's a lot of things in there that often get overlooked.
Sure.
I think medication is sometimes overused. I think it absolutely has its place.
Sure.
So if people need it,
they
need it. But the idea is it's only supposed to drag you out of the position you're in so that you can start to do the things to help yourself. It's not a long-term solution. Unless there's like really complicated stuff going on.
Sure.
Having said that as well, there's a nutritional aspect, there's an endorphin side of it from training, as you know. Sleep is a huge one.
Of course, yeah.
From lighting up different parts of your brain. Your brain is like having a floppy disk.
Right, okay.
We don't use floppy disks anymore. You put them in your computer, you download the file.
Sure.
The file gets transferred to the computer, then you delete it to the disk.
Okay.
If the file doesn't have enough time to download, you don't end up with a clean memory and everything's foggy or it gets a bit messy. You don't do what you need to do. It's like your brain's not working the next day. There's also a big one that might be a little bit controversial, but I think having a purpose is very, very important towards having good mental health. Knowing why you're getting out of bed. I find a lot of people who are in more maybe not a bit mild, but if it's further on, it's common to have a very distinct lack of purpose or lack of clarity on it. Because it's almost like you're wandering around aimlessly, not really understanding why, and people start to ask like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? It's kind of, if you're focused on your business or what it is you do, your family, your kids, your career, whatever it is, you've got something to just be getting focused on with. Mental health side of it as well. There's an interesting statistic from the personal training side of it is serotonin, the happy chemical, that's very, very important to your SSRIs.
Okay.
So serotonin reuptake
inhibitors. Okay.
93% of that is actually produced in your digestive system.
Well, I never knew that. So
7% brain, 93% digestive system. Okay. So looking at cleaning up the gut.
Okay. Which is probiotics.
Probiotics can work. Okay. So they're a start. Also taking care of what you eat. So probiotics are good bacteria for your gut. Prebiotics are the food or the fuel to fuel the good bacteria that help to multiply. It's also things like making sure you're not eating anything you're intolerant to. Which is why blood work is really important to find out. And also allergies, as you know, don't touch them because you potentially kill you. It's also things like IBS and stuff. It's
very common.
Irritable bowel syndrome is essentially something that you're not sure where to put it, so it's like a collective term of symptoms. So we don't know necessarily what it is, but if you narrow it down to is it intolerances, is it your gut bacteria, you're cleaning up what's going on. People have even gone as far as colonics and stuff. There's other ways to start just to keep
Sure.
things clean. It has a massive effect on your mental health. It's on the whole thing, happy gut, happy brain.
Yeah, no, I've heard that.
You feel like,
Sure.
people say like they feel $1,000,000 when they've had
Definitely.
things like that. It has a massive...
It's like if people, I suppose, are ill, then if it's if you've got a cold for a week, then obviously it passes. But if you've got flu for 3-4 weeks, which flu can be, proper flu can last a month at least, then you start to get you start to obviously get down for being ill all the time, and you're losing energy and not sleeping as well, and then because of that it can affect one thing affects another. So I think that's and I think I've read that IBS is one of the most common conditions, health conditions people have, and there's no one cause, but they know that stress can make it worse, or lack of sleep can make it worse. They don't know what causes it per se, but certain things definitely.
So that's where you have to go back as like pieces of a puzzle and go, this is what. Let's have a look at like a holistic questionnaire that I use with clients. It's got what lung function's like. It's got all sorts of things about toxicity and things on the body, and anything that you might not think is relevant, everything is relevant.
And if you were, if you wanted to get a MOT for your body, your health, if you wanted to sort of see what stage your health is, a bit more in depth than just perhaps going to your GP for a chat or something. What I mean, I know you do sort of blood tests. What would you recommend to people if they generally felt healthy, but they wanted to see what their state of their body was, they wanted to go a bit more depth. So a blood test, is that the best thing you think? Is there other things? What's the way?
If you're doing, there's all sorts of things. So the body that we look at, so I would look at a number of things depending on what the client comes to me. So I'd say, is it a postural movement thing? Is it body language? Is it a self-talk, kind of how you kind of perceiving yourself? Right, okay. Blood work will give you a lot of stuff, so whether it's intolerances and allergies, whether it's hormones. Hormones are huge when it comes to becoming very efficient, the best version of yourself, because they drive everything. The only thing that overrides or is more important than hormones is your nervous system, your neurology. Sure. Because that's what we call the master system that drives everything. Right. So that tells the rest of your body to keep something called homeostasis. Sure. Which is a steady state of like equilibrium. Right. Blood work, the only ones I do really now are just intolerances, so it's more like finding out if it's like gluten or wheat or so on, so it's close to 200 foods, and it shows you level of stuff like that. Outside of that, you can do DNA tests to show what type of training you can do, what type of food might be suited better to you. It's not something I do, but there are people that do that. But also, like if you're on private healthcare, they do quite a range of stuff, like a full blood work thing once a year is a good idea. Just because it's a little bit more thorough than what you might get from the NHS, because you've obviously chose to opt for it rather than necessity. So there are things. I think talking to someone and having a consultation and figuring out where to start, where people struggle, and when they don't realise that things actually do roll into each other. So how the nutrition rolls into the mindset rolls into the training rolls into the sleep. The sleep rolls into your hormones. Of course. It goes as far as like your ability to make decisions. Your effectiveness in retaining information. Memory, concentration. Everything, even just general attitude. Like outlook. Definitely. I think on this mindset and mental health, body language is a big one. Definitely. What the science actually shows is your mood doesn't dictate your body language. Your body language dictates your mood. Interesting. There's an interesting TED talk on this. I think it was like by Brené Brown, and body language shapes who you are.
So you're saying like if you walk, if you deliberately make an effort to sort of walk more confidently, that will subconsciously help you feel more confident.
It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. You'll have synapses in your brain. It's a bit like a bridge when you learn something new. It has to get thicker and thicker. So I've got this pen here. So it's almost oversimplified, so I wouldn't take this too literally. So you have point A and point B. When you learn something or a new behaviour, you've got electrical impulses. When that forms, it gets thicker and thicker. So it becomes subconscious.
Okay.
As in it's ingrained into you automatically. And the more you do it, the better you get.
Right.
So over time, you will start to adopt behaviours naturally. So if you walked around on a tube like this, like really scared of everything, your body language is going to say, right, I'm going to put you in a defensive mode.
Sure.
You're protecting yourself from a threat. Whereas if you're very relaxed and open, it's pretty hard to feel sad. So I actually went to the Body Worlds thing recently. I teach a lot of this stuff, but it goes into details. It's one of the things I was talking about in a lecture recently. Your feelings are ultimately, it's almost like they're, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's like they're an extension of your thoughts. And where people have conflict is when they're not quite congruent, so their brain is thinking one thing and their heart is saying something else. Whereas you need to get to a place where they're both saying the same thing, because you're not torn in the middle. So if you're still trying to change behaviours, it takes time, and you can't technically undo a habit. So like old habits die hard, right? So old habits die hard. All you can do is train a new one to override what's there. You learn a new behaviour that then replaces the old one, but by default, at some point, you will still more than likely revert back temporarily to an old behaviour. Slouching. I do this, right? I revert to slouching every now and again and catch yourself slouching.
So constant focusing. I went to a talk recently by a company called Superbrain, where they teach you how to get good habits, and so you can have a bit more limitless potential.
Limitless, right?
It is, it's fascinating. But a couple of things. So when they started, they read a page about Thomas Edison. We all read it, and then they put the sheets down. They asked some questions, and people couldn't even remember some of the basic information. So they said, "What was his middle name?" And people, I was struggling for it, and he said, "Look, they just read it 5 seconds ago." And then we all picked numbers, 200 numbers, and they could recall all of them. But the point that they made was that they asked people in the room, do you think you've got good memory or bad memory? And some people say, yeah, I've got really good memory, some say bad. And they said that if we tested you scientifically, whether in a test, whether you've got good memory or bad might be different to what you think you have, but just by the fact that you go into a test, the person who goes into the test thinking I've got good memory, I know I have, will do better because they think that. And they were saying that
the power of
the person who goes in thinking I'm not very good at remembering things, I'm going to struggle with this, even though technically you might actually have a good memory, will affect the results. And they were saying that knowing that and then incorporating little habit changes, like say,
it's interesting on habit, because you hear all sorts of numbers being thrown out there, but I find that habits take between 21 and 90 days to form. It depends on the habit.
So
if it's like brushing your teeth 3 times a day, that'll probably be quicker because you're doing it a number of times every day, right? So 21 days, give or take. A longer habit might be going to the gym 3 times a week and completing 45 minutes of hard work.
A big commitment, bigger effort.
Because there's gaps in the days in the week, it takes a little bit longer to ingrain. So I think a lot of the personal work it's a bit vague how things actually work. The longer it takes is based on how much you do something. So it's not practice makes perfect, it's perfect practice makes perfect. Because ultimately if you practice something incorrectly, you just get better at getting it wrong. So that's what we can end up 10 years down the line thinking we're getting better and better at something, but we actually got better at getting worse. So it's
I mean, habits is a massive thing. With I think we all talk about it. Better habits with getting up early or getting better sleep, going to the gym more often. Smoking, diet, and hundreds of books about it. I'm sure with what you do, it's about teaching your clients how to build in better habits of health and courage and responding.
It's quite interesting because what we find is if you get somebody to do 1 habit a week, it's more than 70% chance that they're going to do it.
Right. Okay.
When it comes to 2, you're halving it.
Okay.
When it comes to 3 or more, you're at 10-something%.
Okay, that's interesting.
So it's too much for someone to take into one go. So trying to do a radical transformation in the new year, where I'm going to clean up my diet, I'm going to stop drinking, stop eating junk
That's
food.
less likely to work.
It's hard
Sure.
because your body can't undo habits and then replace them, and it should be one at a time.
So it's better to focus on one thing for a month or 2 months, sort that out, and then stop, celebrate that, and then focus, to the next one stage by stage in that way.
To keep it as ingrained.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Once you move on,
Sure.
Then otherwise you end up beating yourself up, which is a lot of people that got the right intentions.
Yeah.
I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, but it's harder to follow through when you don't have a strategy.
No,
you don't have the philosophy.
You need a plan.
You need a plan, and you need to work.
Sure.
That plan.
Plan and action.
Plans fail.
Sure.
Planning is one. That's military saying. Plan doesn't survive first contact, or something along those lines. And boxing is every boxer has a plan until you get punched in the face.
True.
But planning is a massive part of the process.
Yeah.
It helps you to run through scenarios in your head and contingencies and so on. But if you never planned, you can't have a back.
Yeah,
you can't improvise because there's nothing to improvise from. So, although going to plan rarely happens, you still need to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been through Tony Robbins' events. I remember one of the things he said was, you have to have a plan in the sense of where you want to get to. You know, where you want to get to, you're never going to get there, and you got to have that, not just vision, but a clear, realistic goal. But and then how are you going to get there? But things will always change. There's always going to be things that will challenge your plan, challenge your the way, whether you can get there, when and how. So you've got to be constantly maybe stepping to the side and adjusting. If things doesn't work out, you review it, and then carry on, and so move forward.
Two types of mindsets off the back of that. So you've got a fixed mindset, which is I can't do it because I failed. I fell off my bike, so I'm never going to ride a bike. And you've got a growth mindset of I fell off my bike. That's how you ride a bike.
Sure.
If I change this next time, this might work.
Yeah, sure.
So it's if most people can ride a bike, you would have fallen off. Most people would have fallen over when you start to walk.
Sure.
So we have that attitude of keep going when you're a child. It gets ironed out of us somewhere as an adult.
That's
it's
true.
like
it's cynical.
you get a bit cynical as you get older, and sometimes a legitimate reason to do it, but it's still just an outlook of, well, if I learn how to walk, and I learned how to ride a bike, I learned how to swim and I didn't drown, why would I not carry on if I failed at business?
Sure.
Why do I not carry on going out and dating people if my relationship didn't work out?
Why is it different?
Why is it different?
Sure.
It's the same. It's just that society is giving you a different perception of what you're supposed to be. And I think with that, just before we move on to mental health, I think a lot of it is don't worry too much about where society thinks you're supposed to be.
Sure.
You've got to do your own timeline.
Yeah, of course.
Whether you get a degree at 40 or you have a family and you end up adopting at 55.
Sure.
Whatever. We can't fit into boxes. It works for some people, but it pressures a lot of people into thinking a certain way, and I find a huge part of depression is having your reality and what your expectations of what should have been are two completely different things.
And I think that nowadays social media has a part to play this, but I think we're in a fast-paced world, and I think increasingly social media, particularly the younger generation of teenagers, they're 20s, but generally across the board, where the expectation is going up, to react to things quicker, to compare, to comparison things, what people are up to, what we should be doing, what other people are doing. I think generally that, I think personally that there is a bit of a shift in expectation of society. Society, things are happening generally quicker, and change is happening quicker with technology and social media. I think does put a pressure. I just want to say welcome to Chris. It's good to see you join us. And if you weren't aware, we're talking today to Christian Roach, who's the author of Becoming Superhuman, and he's sharing some of his thoughts on health, mind and body, how to make some positive changes, ingrain good habits.
I think Chris has been on a while. So
has it, Chris? Okay, well.
Apologies, Chris.
But welcome to everyone else who's joined us. So just want to ask you, Christian, who are your clients? Are they all ages, all men and women, all different nationalities? What's your sort of client base?
So my clients for coaching is typically people between the ages of 25 and 45. It
Okay.
can go slightly
Sure.
outside of that, but that's my general who I want to work with. And
Okay.
it's not to cut people off, it's more of that's sort of the age where people are more proactive about figuring out what they want to do.
Sure, right, okay.
When you're early 20s, you're a bit like, I'm not generally
Plenty
that
of time.
bothered.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
you do get exceptions. I had a
Of course.
23-year-old client that was an exception. He was
Okay.
quite nice to work with.
Yeah.
I do get older ones as well, but that's my kind of target. And it's mainly people who want to become the best version of themselves. So that's mindset, lifestyle, and fitness.
So looking at that bigger holistic
picture. So whether that's having, I call it an abundant lifestyle,
Sure.
a bulletproof mindset, and
Right.
the body of a Greek god, if you like.
Okay,
it's,
sure.
It's whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Jaw-dropping body.
Right.
Yeah, so it's that kind of thing. I work remotely, so coaching and stuff can be done over the phone, but a lot of it, if there's a physical training aspect, can be done face to face. I don't go too much on the physical side
Sure.
of it anymore. I'll give you little bits, but I keep
Sure.
things simple. I find that with training it gets complicated, and sometimes the best training plan is the one that you can stick to.
Right.
So sometimes it's good, just got to be
Sure.
simple and
Yeah.
not overthink it too
More
much.
like to, I guess, stick to it if it's not too complicated.
Yeah, there's only a couple of things you need
Sure.
to change every couple of weeks.
Sure.
It's more about the accountability and the check-in. And
Sure.
what I found with personal training gone a lot more online, and a lot of the fitness courses have gone online. Going hands-off actually gets you better results
Sure.
because it makes the client or the student become more accountable,
Sure.
but they've still got user support
Right.
if they need to touch in, and it's almost like you're there to facilitate
Okay.
their growth rather than what's the word, like direct it
Okay.
or I can't think of a word, dictate.
Okay.
You're not telling someone how
Sure.
to be, you're
Sure.
helping them to figure out what works for them, and if something doesn't work, you're going to tell
Sure.
them. Having to work with me, I am quite straightforward and I am very
Sure.
direct.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
it's not, I won't tell you things you want to hear.
Sure.
There'll be times where I will be very nice to you, but there'll be times when like, if I need to tell you this is what's going on, this is what's
Sure.
going on.
Yeah, not going to pander someone's.
No.
So,
So it's not about burning bridges or making people feel terrible, it's
Sure.
about knocking them if they need to so you can build them back up.
Sure.
And I think having that self-confidence, if
Sure.
that directness is part of the self-confidence, you need to be able to take it.
Of course.
So if someone said something to me that someone else would find offensive,
Sure.
I wouldn't find it offensive probably. It's offence is a choice as far as I'm
I
concerned.
guess for you as well, you'd rather see someone, for any coach, someone who reaches their goal and achieves what they achieve in a I don't know, relatively short amount of time, and have a longer client, but never actually getting to their, reaching their objective. It's better to have a happy result, you're both happy, a win-win, and reach their target than
Part of it is like, yeah, absolutely. I think
that's success. They're happy.
it's enjoying the process as well, and
Sure.
helping people to figure
Sure.
out what they want and
Sure.
who they are and that kind of thing. And sometimes it takes a bit of tough love. Sometimes
Sure.
it takes an arm around the shoulder.
Sure.
And that's there are situations
Sure.
where they need one or the other. But I think the important thing there is I heard a saying recently that I quite liked. One of the coaches that I know, he basically posted something along the lines of, if I'm telling you what you want, if I'm telling you what you need to know and it sounds blunt,
Sure.
it's because I have your best interest in mind, where everybody else is telling you what you want to hear because they don't want to hurt your feelings.
Sure.
You're never going to move forward.
Yeah, never going to progress. Yeah.
So
That makes
not
sense.
deliberately hurt someone.
Sure, of course.
Because you need to be
Yeah, no, I get that.
relatively sensitive,
Definitely.
but there's points where it's like, okay, it's just
Whether you like to hear or not, this is the way, from your expertise, the way you've got to make changes to progress. On the SIG Influence TV channel, I often share just quick tips from people. So we've covered things in depth, but do you have any
top
just
tips.
top tips?
What
People want to get started. There's so much. So covered in your book, and there's so many things. People. That anyone can do to improve their health. So many aspects. So there's a couple of top tips. 2 or 3.
Yeah, 3.
Sure,
Okay.
3's good.
The first one is probably going to sound like not what you were expecting. Is the first thing you should do every morning is make your bed.
Okay.
Because the rationale behind this is make your bed, you're taking the smaller details seriously, and starting with smaller things help to build momentum on the bigger things.
Okay.
If you dismiss all the smaller things in the morning, your attitude is already,
Sure.
I don't want to do this.
Sure.
Get the smaller things right, it builds momentum.
Okay.
And if you have a really bad day, you can end up coming back to a really nice, comfy bed.
Yeah, but just
like if you've had a really bad day,
Sure.
and you come home to a messy bed, it's
Yeah.
going to make it even worse.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Right,
Yeah,
so that's something small, but it makes
Sure.
a massive difference.
Okay.
I would also say when making decisions, there's a 6-second rule.
Right.
If you, generally speaking, if you wait more than 6 seconds, you're going to talk yourself out.
Okay. Right.
So I'm going to go and talk to that person.
Right.
I'm going to make this decision on which dress do I want.
Sure.
What am I going to have for dinner?
Sure.
Right. You make it within the first 6 seconds, and it just goes.
Right.
Your body will just follow.
Sure.
Right. If you're like, you'll find a reason to talk yourself out of it because your brain's scanning for reasons to protect you.
Of course.
And then you'll end up finding things that aren't there.
We will do it.
RAS again.
Sure.
Right?
Yes.
So it's looking for something that you'll amplify the smaller thing.
Okay.
It's almost like if I take a brand new piece of paper,
Right.
and I do this, going back to RAS,
Sure.
only ever focus on what you want because
Okay.
if I've drawn this now,
Right.
now I set a unit, what can we see on this piece of paper?
I would say a black dot.
Black dot. Which is true, there's a black dot there. But what percentage or quartile of that page is the black dot?
Probably a quarter. 10th of a what percent? Yeah, well,
Small.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
you're
call it
right.
100th of the
Yeah,
page.
you're right.
So you chose to focus
Sure.
on the 100th of the page instead of going as a 99%
Sure.
white space.
Yeah,
It's perception.
it is. No, it's interesting. Yeah.
So it's almost like
I knew I should have. Yeah.
yeah,
no,
a
it's
speck
true.
on a window, right?
Sure.
It was like the window's really clean,
Yeah.
you missed a bit. It's like,
Sure.
but 99% of the window's clean.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me
It's
that.
true.
Yeah, so it's like sales and customer service. You tend to focus on the negative, so
Sure.
people tend to know more about negative feedback and they don't maybe with praise.
Sure.
So we focus on certain things
Sure.
because it's to do with feedback.
Of course.
So it's things like that. But I'll just go back to where
Sure.
we were. It's just a quick.
I went to a talk the other day and someone wrote out a 5 lines saying, I came here today by train and I live in North London and to give a talk on. And then the speaker talked to the audience and said, what do you see or what I've just written? And they put their hands up saying, you've got 2 spelling mistakes. And there were 2 spelling mistakes. But the person said, there's only there's 2 letters wrong or 2 in that whole thing, and if that was a degree, that'd be a first because I think the degrees, first degree is 8%, right? But you focus
80%.
80%. So it's basically saying
I think it's 80.
it was saying basically that we focus on the small things, but you also spot the small things are wrong rather than.
Well, I had so I wrote a personal development blog and quite a lot of articles for various platforms.
Okay.
If you want to check them out, go on my LinkedIn or do something called the Personal Training Development Centre. Whereas got a lot of really good feedback from posts, got a lot of post engagement, and get one guy much fun. He highlighted my spelling mistakes.
Sure.
Because I don't recorrect them. I just write and let it
Sure.
go because I have an
natural.
attachment to it.
Sure.
I can't spell it. You still know what the word means because even if you bunched all those letters up,
Yeah,
the brain
I
would
agree.
still read approach.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes I think we're too almost obsessed about.
And yeah, I know I spelled it wrong. It's
Sure.
like there's bigger things to do here,
Yeah.
so I just let it
Sure.
go. So he's sending me all these things, and I was like, I kind of think you've defeated the whole point.
Yeah. Did
The
you
blog.
actually read the content and
Yeah,
get
which
the value
was-
of what the message was?
Which was a part of
Sure.
letting go of the smaller
Sure.
things.
Yeah.
Which was kind of
It's like a
ironic.
test almost.
It's like
Sure.
you're not passing the test.
Sure.
So that was quite interesting.
Mm.
So I'd say my first 2 tips so far would be make your bed in the morning.
Right.
And always focus only ever on what you want.
Okay.
So it's moving towards.
Right.
Third one, I would say this is harder than it sounds, but I would say let the chips fall wherever they're going to fall.
Okay. Interesting one.
If you're doing what you
What do
want
you
to do and it's the right thing,
Right.
and you don't get the outcome you want,
Okay.
let it go.
Okay. Okay.
You
Well,
can't do
okay.
anything about it. You
Sure.
again go back to how do you react to the situation.
Sure.
So I call it loaded dice. If you're clever,
Sure.
you load the situation in your favour anyway.
Sure.
You don't get that job, that makes the situation better for this one. I can focus on this.
Sure. Okay.
I injured my knee recently,
Sure.
so I tore my anterior cruciate ligament in my knee, and one of the things of becoming superhuman is that's a 9-month layoff, 9 to
Sure.
12 months with surgery.
Right.
I didn't have surgery despite the surgeon and everyone else, the physio,
Sure.
saying I needed it,
Sure.
and I've recovered fully after 5 months.
Yeah. So you want to put what you practice, what some of the things.
A lot of it's up here,
Sure.
but I was doing the right things and I was being consistent, so I really went to town on this. So
Sure.
it was laser treatment, I had flotation, sensory deprivation, things every week.
Tried that, amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Just relaxes your
Sure.
nervous system, massages,
Sure.
physio, hydrotherapy. I've had soft tissue scraping in
Right.
there. I've done all of gym work that I wouldn't do anyway because I have a rehab background before I did all this
Okay.
stuff. And they've basically said it's unheard of to recover fully
Sure.
in that time
Wow. That's pretty
without surgery,
Sure.
considering it was a 9-month layoff without. But they won't put that in the statistics because there was
Sure.
people ruffle a few feathers.
Sure.
It doesn't really bother me,
Yeah.
but the fact that I can run, I can jump, I can
Sure.
hop, I can do everything, I can kick a ball. I'm probably about another month away before doing
Sure.
anything sport again.
Okay.
But it's the part of I believe it was going to heal. I'm not saying that that's like religious or anything, because I'm not particularly religious.
Sure.
But that's your thing, that's your thing. It's more about the fact that I was finding solutions.
Sure. Yeah.
Rather than having barriers like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do
Okay.
this, I'm going to do this. And it goes against what the mainstream have, but there is a lot of science that has gaps.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
all
No.
for science, I'm all for
Sure.
evidence-based, but just because it isn't there yet doesn't mean it's not.
I think in some ways there's a bit of a benefit to challenging sometimes. In if you're given certain if you injure yourself and you get a diagnosis, that I knew someone injured his back, and the doctor said you need to take strong painkillers, take it easy, operate, and they're really strong painkillers, worried about sort of the side effects of those, and he got some alternative therapy advice, and you look to get some holistic view on what he can do to deal with it, and he had some physio massages and basically managed to take milder painkillers for a short period of time, and he recovered much quicker. And I think if he just accepted that obviously doctors are the primary people go for advice, as they should be, but I think sometimes you need to challenge a little bit.
It's not to say that you shouldn't not get surgery. It's not to say that you shouldn't listen to the doctor.
Sure.
It's exceptional circumstances. In a position where I've got the right network,
Sure.
the right mindset, got the resources,
Sure.
and I was very resourceful. So
Course.
there is context.
Sure.
If you took someone who's sedentary,
Sure.
put it into context. I was probably exercising 12, 13, 14 hours a week before I did it.
Sure.
My heart rate was down here.
Okay.
Very, very fit.
Sure.
Compare that to somebody who's sat at a desk, you're probably going to need to get surgery.
Sure. Yeah.
It's context.
Yeah, of course.
So we should always remember that context is the king, and there's no black and white. It's always dependent on the situation.
Makes sense. Okay. So I think we're coming to the end of our chat, and a couple of things to draw up with. So what's next for you? I mean, you got any? Is there going to be a second book, sequel, or you write blogs? Obviously, you're doing blogs. Have you always done that? You're writing more.
I'm off them at the
what are you up to?
moment.
What are you up to?
I'm off the blogs. What am I up to? So I'm potentially doing a TED talk at some point.
Fantastic. Okay.
So I'm just
Let me know.
putting some stuff. Absolutely,
Sure.
it'd be good to have you along. I'm putting some stuff towards that. I still haven't decided the topics, but I've got
Sure.
various people that are helping me through the process. 'Cause
Okay.
It's quite a long
Sure.
process to get there.
Of course.
I have written another book. I haven't published it yet
Okay.
because I'm just fine tuning.
Sure.
It needs to prove very nice sort of stuff.
Is there a Queen over title?
You the title. It
Okay.
might change, so don't
Sure.
quote me. But the title at the moment is "Sort Your Shit Out."
I like it.
The no nonsense approach
Sure.
to taking ownership of your life.
Okay. I like it. No, I like it. I like
It
it.
will be provocative.
Okay.
But I think that we'll go back to people want to read information. It's
Sure.
up to them how they take it. It's not to
Course.
deliberately offend somebody,
Sure.
but if you get offended by someone else's opinion,
Mm.
it's like the whole thing. If you get this thing of like people call people bigots.
Right.
But the fact that the corner people are bigger makes them bigger themselves.
Sure.
It's like,
No, it's true.
you have to be tolerant. If you're going to tolerate
Yeah.
people's opinions, you have to tolerate
It's
the ones
true.
you disagree with.
It's true.
You can't just go, I only tolerate the ones that sound like
It's true. It's true.
what I think.
Sure.
Whereas, like, I don't want to go into, but there's plenty of that
Sure.
going on in various things in the mainstream at the moment.
Yeah. No.
You can't do that.
Yep.
It's half. It's one or the other.
No, it's true. That's true. It's wise words. Well, I look forward to finding out more about that. If people want to, I'll share your contact details in the post. But if people want to get hold of you, they want to have talk to you about, see if you can help them, help you. What's the best way?
So there's a couple of things you can do. I've got free content on my website, which is www.christianroach.co.uk.
Okay.
So if you need to spell in my name, you can get it off Nick or something like that. So
Sure. Yeah, I'll share it underneath the. Okay.
I've got the book, so Becoming Superhuman, on Amazon.
So I'll show it again.
It's also available for free at the moment on Kindle if you have Kindle.
Right.
So I think that's pretty much till the end of the month. So you've got a good, this month, 31 days.
Yeah, it's a couple of weeks left. Still.
Yeah, you've got it's 22nd or something today. So
Yeah.
9-ish days.
Yeah, enough time. No
enough
excuses.
time if you want to get it for free.
Sure.
And don't say I don't give you anything for free. So, if you want to chat about anything, you can drop me a message on Facebook or just contact me through my website or through social media really. And I do consultations to people. A lot of the stuff I do is score in different areas of your life with you and how you are on a scale of 1 to 10.
Sure.
Comparing it with periodic phases and how it compares to later. Improvement percentages and stuff from there. So you have a whole, like a holistic improvement rather than improving one area.
Okay.
So details on the website. Other than that, if you go in it today, though, I'm actually in the process of tidying something up and they'll be back on tomorrow. So it's just got there was a bit of a bug on or something to the chill. So.
Okay.
But back up tomorrow morning. It'll be all good.
Great. I almost expect the flood of.
If I get them now, it's that bad time, But that's again taking ownership. That's my responsibility to make sure it's working. So
of course, part of the business.
Part of the business.
Okay, well, that's the end of the interview with Christian. This interview on Facebook Live is also going to be on Seek Influence TV YouTube. If you like it, subscribe to the channel, share. I'm putting Christian's details in the comments box, and look out for the next interview soon. So thank you, Christian.
Thanks very much, Nick.
Thanks.
Cheers, guys, and thanks for watching.
Cheers.
Let me know if you need anything. We'll go from there.